what we have, and just the order, chapters are not important to me. We have an account of Israel in Egypt. First we learn what Israel is doing in Egypt in the first place, and that's because Joseph, the major character in the last cycle of Genesis, brought his whole family to Egypt to settle because he had a really good in with the Pharaoh. And so they settled there, and they multiply. Just reproduce like rabbits, just very, very much quicker than the Egyptians. The Egyptians start getting nervous, and this is all in chapter 1. And then we have a very significant phrase. It says that there arose a Pharaoh who didn't know Joseph. Now Joseph is long dead at this point, so the word know must have some other meaning. Now what most of us think is that what we're talking about here is a new dynasty. That there was an old dynasty that had some kinship with with Joseph. And now a new dynasty arises that does not have that kinship. And all of a sudden, the Israelites are enslaved. And because they reproduce so quickly, the Pharaoh makes a law that the Hebrew mothers, the word Hebrew is roughly equivalent to the word Israelite. But the tendency is non-Hebrews, when they refer to this group, they call them Hebrews. The Israelites refer to themselves as Israelites. So anyway, the Hebrew women were ordered by the Pharaoh to destroy all their male babies. It's a good way of population control. They refuse to do it. They hide the babies. And that brings us to the second stage in the Exodus event, which is the early life of Moses. And if you've seen the movie The Ten Commandments, you pretty much know how this goes. It's fairly accurate in terms of its broad details. Moses is hidden by his mother, and finally, when she can't hide him any longer, she sends him down in a little basket. He's picked up by the Pharaoh's daughter and is raised in the Pharaoh's household. He grows up in the Pharaoh's household with an awareness of his dual citizenship, and then at a certain point, he murders an Egyptian in defense of his true people, his blood people, the Hebrews, and has to flee. So after his early life, we have his exile in Midian. Midian is a land that roughly exists in the region between Egypt and Palestine. It includes the Sinai and southern Palestine and a little bit of Egypt. So he's exiled in Midian for probably another 40 years. And that's when he sees the burning bush, in which Yahweh appears to him and commands him to return to Egypt and be the instrument of the deliverance of the people. He returns to Egypt, confronts the Pharaoh, and institutes what are popularly called 10 plagues, 10 disasters that are inflicted on the Egyptian people as a means to twist Pharaoh's arm and make him release these slaves at great economic cost to himself. So Moses, and by implication Yahweh, make the economic cost of keeping the slaves greater than the economic cost of losing them. He takes them away. The last plague, by the way, is the murder of the firstborn son of every single family in Egypt, from the Pharaoh to the least of the animals. Devastates the country.